vlog. Today we're going to finish off the R33's fuel system, and for a change we're going to use the iPhone to record for this episode, just to compare the quality between the GoPro I usually use and the quality that we can get from the iPhone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, a big shout out to any new subscribers. I think we've just breached the 20 subscriber mark, so next stop 1 million. Anyways, back to the fuel system. So we've got a radium fuel pressure regulator that we'll install. We've also got from Golby's their RB25 fuel system upgrade pack, which has got 1000cc Bosch injectors, some pigtails, as well as some injector cabs. The only thing missing is the Billet Platinum Products fuel rail. They're on back order pretty much everywhere. So hoping that should arrive within the next week or so. But we're going to get stuck in today and basically disassemble everything that we need to from the J-pipe, the throttle body, as well as a lot of the hoses, in sort of this vicinity here, so we can get the stock fuel rail out and put the new one in. The other thing we'll do while we've got all of that off is take these valve covers off and probably just give them a freshen up. Tossing up whether I do powder coat them, but we might give the sort of rattle can treatment with the wrinkled black a go, see how they come out, but I'll probably end up getting them powder coated in the end. Alright, let's get stuck into it. Alright, we've got the J-pipe off. It's just a couple of bolts and a few hoses. One thing I'm going to have to fix up is I don't know if this bottle cap's going to do the job. Might be contributed to some of the idle issues I had. Next thing we'll do is we'll take the throttle body off and the throttle cable as well. That should be pretty straightforward. We'll block out the intake here so no debris gets in, and then we'll turn our attention to taking these off and getting the valve covers out. Alright, so we've got one valve cover off. Not really sure what I'm looking at here, but anybody out there that's a little bit more learned to me can probably inform me on how it all looks. We're gonna cover it up. I'm gonna get the throttle body off, and we'll do the other one as well. Alright, a couple of bolts, few hoses, and the throttle body's off. I've also started to take the standard fuel hoses off. Some of them are pretty baked on, so I just had to cut them up, but we'll be replacing all the fuel hoses with some AN lights. They're saying do it once, do it right. I'm going to leave the rocket cover on while I replace all of the fueling, just to avoid any unnecessary risk around something going into the head. So we'll try and take this stock fuel rail out, but as I said earlier, we're going to have to wait until we get the new fuel rail, which hopefully should be this week. Alright, we got the fuel rail unbolted. That was a fucking bitch. There's one right at the back, so you're going to take, I think it's the IACV or something at the back there. You've just got to get that one loose and you should be good to get a socket in there. And just for anyone playing at home, there is not 4 bolts, but there is 5 bolts on the stock 33 fuel rail. So I'm going to pause there for a moment, and then we'll get back into it. We'll take the fuel rail out. Alright, so we're taking a break from trying to get that fuel rail out. I just want to show you what we've done with the valve covers. So this is just some wrinkled black from a rattle can. Looks pretty good. I'm just going to let it dry in the sun, and we'll test fit it to see what it looks like in the bay.
2,000 years later.
Alright, after a few days of toiling, we managed to get the fuel rail out. I did have to cut off this coolant hose, so we'll get a replacement for that. We did take off the second rocket cover, and that's getting painted now. And we did refit the first rocket cover, and it came out pretty good. And we finally got all the parts we need to get this thing back on the road, so we'll go through that now. So after waiting almost 3 months, we finally received our fuel rail. We went with a Billet Performance Products RB25 kit. It's a cool piece of kit. Comes with a couple of stickers, a couple of extra killer wasps, keychain as well, but it comes with all the fittings to use some top feed injectors, and it looks quite nice, continuing with that black theme. To go with that, we've got some Bosch, I think 1050cc injectors, and we've got some injector caps as well, so we've fitted those up. Thanks to Golby's for getting those to us. Also, we've got a radium fuel pressure regulator and the matching fuel pressure gauge, so it's going to look pretty slick in the engine bay, all nice and blacked out, again to match that black and silver theme. We've just got some thread sealant and some silicone spray to get it all fitted up. So what we're going to do is get the injector seats mounted first, and then what we'll do is we'll install the injectors and bolt the fuel rail up, and get the pressure regulator put on. Alright, all the injector seats are in. It's pretty straightforward, but tip for young players, make sure you don't drop one in through the intake manifold there. Took me about 30 minutes to figure out where it landed, but we'll now seat the injectors and get them clipped up before we put the fuel rail on. Alright, injectors are all seated. Just make sure you lube up the O-rings and they go in pretty easy. Looking pretty good. One problem, I think we might need to figure out what we're going to do with this coolant hose to get the fuel rail in. I think there should be just enough clearance. See there, just enough clearance if we just pull it out of the way. So we'll lube up the other end of the injectors and test fit the fuel rail. See if it all locks into place. All right, the fuel rail's all seated and the injector pigtails are in. It was a bit of a bitch, and I did have to take the bolts out of this thing just to get access underneath and get some clearance. There's a few clearance issues back here just when you put the fuel rail in. So tips for young players, maybe look at 1/2-inch injectors instead of the 3/4. The other thing I did, true to fashion, was when I was trying to install the spacers, I lost them in the back of the engine somewhere. So for the moment, I'll just sort of leave it as is, but I'll be either cutting up the other spacers that came with the kit to fit, or looking to source some replacements. So next thing that I'll need to do is to fit the fuel pressure regulator and just check for clearance issues. It should be all right, and then we're going to have to think about what we do with all of these other coolant hoses to get it fitting proper. All right, we've just test fitted the regulator and gauge up to check for clearance issues. We're going to have to route this vacuum line just into the back of the regulator, and then we'll have the return line back down through to the standard fuel lines. I don't think there's going to be too many clearance issues there. We'll just need to probably run this hose probably back down that way into the rocker cover, and then get the coolant sort of hoses back connected. But it's looking pretty good. Alright, the other thing we've done is taken all the this stock fuel filters and hoses off, and you can see I've just put 2 bolts in the top of the hard lines just to stop any other fuel coming out. We're going to order ourselves some AN lines this week, and we'll get the spacer situation resolved, and then we'll be able to button this thing up and get it back on the road. But that's where we'll leave this video. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.